Have you guys realized that it has been almost 1 year since many federal employees received reduction in force notices? So, for many people, the immediate crisis has passed, but there's another deadline that could impact those employees' federal job search. And so, if you have been relying on CTAP or ICTAP eligibility to apply for federal positions, your eligibility may be ending soon, depending on your separation date or your individual circumstances. And so that means it's time to understand what comes next. And for many people, that is going to be a reinstatement eligibility. So in today's video, I am going to explain the difference between a reduction in force, CTAP, ICTAP, and reinstatement eligibility, just so that you will know how to position yourself when applying for federal jobs. Welcome back to the Brooks Edit. If you are new here, my name is Dr. Brooks and I work in federal human resources. And my goal is to help make federal hiring easier to understand. I want to mention that today's video is for educational purposes only. Every employee situation is different and agencies may have different policies and procedures. So as always, I want to encourage you to verify your eligibility with your servicing HR office. So let's go ahead and jump right in. What is a reduction in force? A reduction in force, commonly called a RIF, occurs when agencies must eliminate positions because of reasons such as budget restrictions, a reorganization. It can be a lack of work, it can be a transfer of function, and it can be the abolishment of positions. And so a RIF is going to be different from being fired because of performance or misconduct. So instead, it's an organizational action where the position, not necessarily the employee, is being eliminated. So employees affected by a RIF, they may receive certain placement rights and benefits designed to help them return to federal service. And so two of the biggest benefits available for certain separations are CTAP and ICTAP. CTAP stands for Career Transition Assistance Plan, and CTAP generally helps employees who are being displaced compete for vacancies within their own agency. So basically, if you are qualified for a position and meet all the requirements, CTAP may give you selection priority over other candidates in certain situations. The second one is ICTAP. So ICTAP, it stands for Interagency Career Transition Assistance Plan. And so instead of helping you within your own agency, ICTAP allows eligible employees to receive priority consideration for vacancies in other agencies. So just think of it this way. CTAP is going to help you inside of your own agency, and then ICTAP is going to help you across the federal government. And so these programs were created to help employees affected by workforce restructuring to help them transition back into federal employment. So here's why I am making this video, because for many employees affected by last year's reduction in force, their CTAP or ICTAP eligibility may be approaching its expiration date. So depending on when they were separated and the specific terms of their eligibility, that does not necessarily mean that their opportunity to return to federal service disappears. It simply means that another hiring authority may become more important. And so we are going to talk about reinstatement eligibility. So what exactly is a reinstatement eligibility? So reinstatement eligibility allows certain former federal employees who previously held a career or career conditional appointment in the competitive service apply for federal jobs without competing with the general public. So if you were a vet preference eligible or if you had career tenure, then your reinstatement is lifetime. But if you were a career conditional employee, your reinstatement is going to be 3 years from the date of separation. So reinstatement eligibility does not guarantee you a job. It simply allows agencies to consider hiring you through a different hiring authority. So when searching USA jobs, you'll often see announcements say things like current federal employees, former federal employees are reinstatement eligible. So If you are eligible for reinstatement, do not overlook those announcements. They could, significantly increase the numbers of jobs that you are able to apply for. And so one important thing that I want you to consider is that reinstatement eligibility and CTAP and ICTAP, they are not the same thing. CTAP and ICTAP are priority placement programs, and then reinstatement is an actual hiring authority. And so those are two completely different concepts. So if you are a job seeker, I want to give you a couple of tips. So if you have been affected by the reduction in force, some things that I recommend is number one, I want you to review your SF50 and your separation documents, because you need to understand exactly what type of appointment you previously held, and you want to verify your eligibility. The second thing is I want you to read every USA Jobs announcement. I want you to read it from top to bottom. Don't assume that you're ineligible because you are no longer a current employee, because many announcements, they are open to reinstatement eligible applicants. The third thing is I want you to update your federal resume. If it's been a year since you've applied, it's probably time for a refresh. And then you also have to remember that now federal resumes are limited to 2 pages. And then number 4, don't rely only on one hiring authority. I want you to look at every hiring path that you may qualify for and just make sure that you are not overlooking reinstatement eligibility. I know that over the past year, it has been very difficult for many federal employees and their families. And so, a reduction in force, it can be emotionally and financially overwhelming. But I want you to understand how federal hiring works so that you can make informed decisions moving forward. So if your ICTAP or CTAP eligibility is ending soon, please do not panic. It does not necessarily mean that your federal career is over. It may just simply mean that it's time for you to shift your strategy and begin applying under reinstatement eligibility if you qualify. I will have the link to OPM in the description of this video so that you can read what reinstatement eligibility is for yourself. And if this video has helped you, I want you to give it a thumbs up, and I want you to subscribe to the Brooks Edit, because I regularly create content that helps federal employees better understand hiring, staffing, HR policies, and career development. And I also love to hear from you. So if you have been affected by last year's reduction in force, how has your federal job search been going? I want you to share your experience in the comments, because believe it or not, your story may encourage someone else who is going through the same thing, because I am a firm believer that we are never going through anything alone. It is never an isolated situation. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.